Alright, you guys. I know I've been away for a little bit, and I owe you guys a vlog. We've just been really busy between baseball and everything else. So today's gonna be a vlog, and I believe we're gonna do a tech review. So some of you guys know I've been using a Mac for several years now. I've been using a Mac Pro starting last year. And long story short with that one is that we upgraded a 4-core, quad-core with 8 threads of Mac Pro to a 10-core, 20 threads. And the machine was great, but what happens is that that particular machine came with a D300 card, a dual D300. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it is good, but it's not great. And as I got into more video editing, this is where I needed more horsepower and more power. And I explored other routes and maybe looking into upgrading the graphics card into a D700, a dual D700, which is when you purchase a $6,000–7,000 Mac Pro from Apple, that will be the top of the line D700 dual AMD graphics card. But now we're in 2017, and needless to say, the Mac Pro really hasn't been updated since, I mean, forever, literally. The machine came out in 2013 and they haven't changed it very much. So what we had to do was that we continued performing research, and I discovered a eGPU. What does that mean, eGPU? External graphics card. So a lot of these people out there on the internet was able to use a Thunderbolt 2 enclosure and put a graphics card in there and be able to make it work. And they've been using a graphics card like GTX, which is by NVIDIA, and also, of course, AMD, which is very much Mac compatible. So when that happened, when I did that research, guess what I've done? I went out and got myself a Thunderbolt 2 enclosure. So I went out and went to Amazon like everyone else, got the Akitio Thunderbolt 2 enclosure. It was actually pretty reasonable. It wasn't very expensive. It was on Amazon. It was approximately, I think it was like $209 or $6, something reasonable. So I went and got this, but the graphics card wouldn't fit exactly in there. So I had to do some modifications. We had to do some modifications in hardware to make sure that it fits. You can go out to the YouTubes or just blogs out there, that there are a tremendous amount of articles and just articles out there that you can see how you can build this eGPU enclosure. I'm not gonna get on into that. I mean, I'm technical, but trying to build it here and explain to you the whole process, probably not the best suit for this. What I'm gonna do is just give you the links down below, and you can go through the videos and the links, and then you can follow it through. But ultimately what I did was I built one of these guys. So I cut the enclosure. The enclosure was actually like this, and I took it out and just really used the card and also just the internal body to house a eGPU card. At the end, I chose the Rx480, which is a AMD card, which is suitable for Mac because those drivers are pretty much set in there overall. There are some tweakings you have to do within the script, but you can go ahead and look at the links below, and you're gonna be able to see that how to perform that task if you choose to. But long story short, I built 2 of these guys. I built 2 of these. So I went really kind of overboard because I'm using Final Cut Pro X so much in trying to video editing and other things. I don't game anymore, but using it for video editing, that I got 2 of them. So I'm using 2 AMD Rx480s, and then along the way I'm using dual D300, and let me tell you, Final Cut Pro X now runs smooth as butter. It's been great. Now, to everything that's upside, there's some downside. This particular process, hence I was a little bit tied up with the vlogs, it literally took like 2 weeks between the shipping of the equipment and cutting it and just building it and getting the software and the drivers correct. It really did take 2 weeks. Later on in this video, I'm going to be able to show you some of the benchmark results for some of the more tech savvy guys out there that wanted to see the actual results. But long story short, it is really good. Now, really good as in Final Cut Pro X, excellent. The software is very fluid and everything is working fine, but the gaming aspects still is not as good as using a video card. 3D, while it's running around at 1080p, it's running around 70 to 80 frames per second. It's not as fluid as if you use a GTX 980 Ti, like I also beta tested with. That particular card really ran well and ran over like 120 FPS, frames per second. For those are starting to know what I'm talking about, the higher the frame per second, the better it is. So if you really want to game with a Mac and dual boot into the Windows environment, you know, a GTX card's probably the way to go. And again, the links below can show you how to use both versions of platforms for say either the NVIDIA or the AMD. Now, getting the one card to be recognized and used in the Mac Pro system was pretty easy. But using it for running it dual, that did take a little bit of work and trial and error. And I absolutely want to send a shout out to the IT Sage and also the guys over at Akitio to really give me a hand and explaining to me which ports that I should really use within the Mac Pro to plug in to get those things recognized. While they provided the guidance, that's still a lot of trial and error and the whole 9 yards. Other than that, I'm going to be able to show you some screenshots of it and some short videos, and I'll go and I can go in a little bit of details and walking through the benchmarks. But other than that, it works great. I mean, if you have a Mac Pro or a MacBook Pro and you want a more high power graphics card to run with that system, that's something you want to consider. eGPU. Okay, so that's it. This is it for today's vlog. Ultimately, that's something, you know, it's pretty easily done. So if you have any questions, absolutely email me or just text me. Let me know if I can help. If not, the links below should be pretty self-explanatory. Until then, to our next vlog. Peace. Thanks a lot.